Hey folks, my name is Alex Haney, but I also go by Alex Forrest. I am a professional guide and outdoor educator based in Ontario, Canada, and I'm also a former instructor for Outward Bound Canada. And I'm making this video especially today for any of my former co-instructors at Outward Bound Canada, but also any other professionals in the industry in Canada, and in particular in Ontario. You may have heard my story on CBC recently after I refused to stay quiet about massive labor rights violations that I discovered, not just at Outward Bound Canada, but throughout the entire industry in this province, Ontario, and I suspect the rest of the country as well. But if you did see that news story, you've only heard a small part of the story, and there's much more that you need to know to educate yourself about your rights as an instructor in this province. So question, how much would you say that you currently know about your rights as a worker in Ontario? Because this industry is currently immersed in like this thick fog of ignorance when it comes to labor rights. And basically I'm here today to shine a light through this fog and help you to discover that you have many more rights than you have been led to believe. Hopefully with your help we can start clearing this fog once and for all. So I've spent hundreds of hours of my own time over the past year essentially trying to educate myself and get to the truth of this matter. I've read through the Employment Standards Act from cover to cover more than 5 times. That is the document that outlines all our rights as workers in Ontario. I've also spoken to tons of government officials directly from places like the Ministry of Labour, Stats Canada, Service Ontario, Service Canada. I even hired a lawyer specializing in Ontario employment law who described the actions of employers in this industry in Ontario as extremely in bad faith. So I'm here today not just to share my story with you and what I've learned throughout this whole journey that I've taken over the past year, but so that we can share our stories with each other and hopefully start getting a dialogue going about the future of this industry in this country. So right now, employers are gaining all of the benefits, financial and otherwise, of having employees without giving us most of the benefits that come with being an employee. They expect us to be professionals by maintaining expensive gear and certifications, yet they don't respect us like professionals by paying us a living wage or even a minimum wage. They expect us to be loyal to them but refuse to remain loyal to us when we tell them that we're struggling just to feed our family and to stay in the industry. Or at least that's what Outward Bound did to me. So I can't tell you why this issue should matter enough to you to want to get more involved, but I can tell you some of the many reasons why this matters to me, and maybe something will resonate with you. This matters to me because I don't want any other worker to feel as disrespected and worthless as I was made to feel by Outward Bound Canada. We all deserve dignity and respect, and that comes with having rights. It matters to me because I know that for myself, this is my life's work. This isn't just something I want to do before I find my more serious job. For me, this is the serious job. But it's hard to make a living in an industry that relies so much on disposable, seasonal workers. Also, when employee turnover is high, the knowledge and expertise that comes with having had years of experience in this industry is lost, and I believe that everyone suffers for that. It matters to me because I really do care about the future of this industry, and I know that these changes, getting better rights for workers, will only bring positive things. When workers lack rights, for example, they're less productive, they're worse at learning and leading, they experience more burnout and don't stay with their employers very long. So I can only speak for myself and my own experience, but back when I worked at Outward Bound Canada, employees, instructors only tended to stick around for maybe a year or so before moving on. And I'm just wondering, I'd love to hear from you guys if this is something that you've experienced where you work as well, because high turnover is often a symptom of being overworked and undercompensated. And we all know we are, right? But this is our passion, so we're supposed to be grateful. Unfortunately, gratitude doesn't pay the rent. This matters to me because I'm queer and trans and working class, and this industry has a diversity problem. I suspect that one of the main reasons for this are the huge systemic barriers that are in place that prevent less privileged folks from contributing and participating. These barriers are things like the expensive certification, the lack of access to job security or minimum wage, and diversity in this industry matters to me because I work with a huge diversity of youth and they need to see themselves represented outdoors. I want all of us to really take a hard look at our places of employment and ask ourselves who is missing here, who is not represented in this industry right now. And we need to start asking ourselves why and what can we do about it. This matters to me because I try to live my own life with integrity, and I don't want to be someone who turns a blind eye to injustice. I want to leave this world a better place, and if I'm presented with a way that I can do that, then I'm going to take it. It matters to me because I want to be a role model to my 11-year-old daughter, Micah. I want her to know that she's powerful and not to let anything get in the way of her achieving her life purpose. It matters to me because I want to provide for my family, and I work hard and I'm good at what I do, and I should be able to do that. But right now, I can't. This matters to me because I am really passionate about workers' rights. My parents and grandparents and your parents and grandparents most likely fought to win us these rights. And history has shown us that when workers don't fight to keep those rights and expand those rights, then they can easily be taken away. This matters to me because I believe that business should be an equal partnership between employees and employers and not an exploitative one. So if after hearing all of this you want to get involved, there are a couple of different things you can do. So the first most important thing that you can do is join my Facebook group. It's called Allied Outside Ontario. You can search for it on Facebook, or I'll put links below. I'll put them everywhere so that it's easy to find. In that group, basically it's going to be a space for discussion related to workers' rights and employment standards in Ontario specifically, and for us to a space for us to share stories and talk with each other and discover what really is important to us in this industry. In that group, you'll also find links to resolutions from Ministry of Labour complaints that have happened in the last 2 years, including my own with Outward Bound Canada. And there also will be links to all of the relevant documents related to my case that I'm able to share. You can also listen to my story or read it, whatever one is more comfortable for you. I'll link both down below. But essentially what I want to do through sharing my story is to help educate other instructors and professional guides, especially in Ontario, about their rights under the Employment Standards Act and how they apply, because it really is confusing. And like I've said, I've spent so many hours researching, reading through that document, talking to lawyers, talking to government officials. So listen to my story, and I really hope that it will lead you to a more educated place. That's it for today, folks. Thanks so much for listening. Bye.